Welcome to Gulfstream today, and welcome to Gulfstream Park. Ron Nicoletti with Acacia Courtney. And before we get started, our special Father's Day card. I want to wish everyone out there who's a dad a very, very happy Father's Day.
Yes, and you're a dad. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you very much.
I want to wish my dad, Brian, a very happy Father's Day. They're actually coming down to Florida to visit me today, so I'll get to see my dad on Father's Day. But I hope that all of you dads out there enjoy your very special day.
Yeah, and maybe you'll be able to hit that Rainbow Six a little later on, and that'll make it a really special Father's Day. So we'll see how that works out. We're going to start the day with a fast main track. We have a firm turf course, and we're going to go through our wagering menu right now. We're going to start it off in race 1 with our early pick 5, a 50-cent wager, and Acacia's going to show you a ticket in just a couple of moments. And the Rainbow Six, as I mentioned, will kick on a little later on. But in race 2, we got the Rolling Super High 5 starting. Every race with 7 participants, we will have the Rolling Super High 5. I think the last one yesterday paid like $20-something thousand, so it's a good wager. Then we're going into the Rainbow Six, which 10 race card starts in race number 5, approaching $42,000 there. We'll be right around $100,000, if not more, this afternoon. Like I said, 20 cents. If your dad can't win it, maybe you can win it and give it to your dad.
Oh, that'll be certainly a nice Father's Day gift if you can pay it forward.
And there we got the final pick 5 of the afternoon, which starts in race number 6. Our last 5 races on the card. The first race on Father's Day is a 6-furlong maiden claiming event. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. They're running for a $10,000 tag. 6 runners in here. We're going to take a look at Acacia's early pick 5 ticket. Interested to see how deep you went in this opening event.
Well, I just went too deep in this opener, but it's definitely a wide open one. You see very early in the wagering, 8-5 on the number 6 Association. Have that horse on there as well. A $48 ticket to start off the day.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the logical 2 you have in the open event. Let's start talking about that 6 Association. Turning back to 3/4 of a mile today. Set the early pace, faded. Boy, this horse was the odds-on choice last time out. I think he went off at 50 cents to the dollar. That was going to 1 turn a mile. Mark Cassie's the trainer. Tyler Gaffleone named to ride this afternoon, and I just think the turn back is really going to help this horse. And odds-on, beating odds-on. So I'm glad you used 2 in here, and the one you used on top was the number 5, Awesome Missy.
Yeah, I went with the number 5, Awesome Missy on top, who I think will probably sit just behind Association in terms of the speed. Disappointing as that odds-on favorite last time out. Was a big question mark for me after dropping to this level with Association. Just seems like not the most consistent filly, and you're not always sure if you can trust her, especially at that short price that you're going to get. Awesome Missy is going to be a little bit better price, I think. I thought had a really good performance last time out to only be beaten by a length and 3/4 as a really big long shot, finishing second at this level at 5.5 furlongs, so a slight stretch out now to the 6.
Yeah, and also Missy actually the morning line favorite. We both closed it out with the 1, Stacy's Reflection. It's earned a check in 3 races, and I'm expecting more of that today.
0 for 27 maiden, so hasn't been able to get to the winner's circle just yet. Running back in about 10 days, but often right up there in the action.
Let's go to race number 2, and that's our first turf race of the afternoon. 7 1/2 furlongs. Maiden claim is 3 and up. $12,500. Scratch the main track only in here, and that is number 9, Legislation. And you started it off in here with the number 4 horse, Times the Essence.
I did. This one had a really steady outside bid last time out. Was beaten by a length, or 2 1/4 lengths, excuse me, with Luca Panici in the saddle, who's going to ride again today. That was after stretching out from 5 furlongs to run at a mile on the turf last time out. Got a little bit of a cut back to the 7.5, go the 2 turns 7.5 here on the turf. And I thought that was a pretty solid performance from this horse.
Well, I went with the number 7 up here, and that is Menahune, who was really solid in defeat when he responded to both a surface switch and the class relief with a 2nd place finish, beating the neck at this level and distance. Boy, this horse, the light turned on when they dropped him and put him on the turf last time out. Wasn't that good before that, but certainly ran well enough to be a factor in here this afternoon. But with that said, I don't know how deep you went on your pick 5 here. I think you got to use the 3 horses we have up there.
I think so too. I did go 3 deep in this race for that very reason. I totally agree with you that it was like something just clicked with Menahune last time out going over to the turf. Does have some earlier turf starts in his career where there were just a little bit of clunker races there. So not sure if he's going to be able to repeat that kind of performance, but definitely a very game last time out, and expect him to be up there again. But I also used the number 5 Magic Mangus, who ran at this distance last time out after cutting back from 1 mile and a 16th. Had a couple of third place finishes prior to that most recent race. Finished behind Menahune last time out, but I think is eligible to improve.
Yeah, you know, he's a sort of a late striding type. We want to take a chance right now in race number 2 to tell you that speed has been awful good on the turf course over the last few days. Now, that doesn't mean if every horse that goes to the lead is going to win it, but certainly you got to be in that first flight, at least over the last 6 or 7 races.
That's kind of why I went with the number 4 Time of Essence on top. I think might be able to show a little bit more speed because this speed scenario in this race seems a little bit lacking.
Let's go to race number 3, and let's go back to this fast main track, a 1 mile allowance optional claimer for 3-year-olds and up, or they run for that optional claiming price of $62,500. Pretty nice field. 6 runners in here, and you went with the number 6 horse, Rich Daddy, on top of your ticket.
Well, this one's stepping up in class a little bit after running against $8,000 optional claimers last time out to win as the odds-on favorite by 11 lengths. But the start 2 back was in a grade 3 in the grade 3 skip away, so took a big class drop to get back to the winner's circle last time, and now a slight step up, but I certainly feel like he's up to the challenge. As I said, won by 11 lengths last time out and keeping really good form with the exception of that grade 3 bid.
I mean, he was really good before the layup, except for that grade, the skip away, which that was contested on a sealed sloppy track. This gelding loves Gulfstream. He's had 12 races here, 6 wins, so 50% win average, and the distance, he loves the distance, 7 for 7 in the money, with 5 of those being victories. I went with the number 3 Wildcat Wish on top of my ticket. He's stretching out today to a 1-turn mile for the first time. He rallied to finish second behind ultra classy Awesome Banner. That was in the 6.5 furlong Big Cypress. Stanley Gold, want to go back and show you a spotlight of this race?
Yes, I'm going to go back and show you that Big Cypress performance. As you said, Awesome Banner, the winner there. And this is at the start. You see kind of slow in the brakes, shuffled back a little bit. He's a horse that does a lot of his better running late anyway, but he was really far back. Here you see him. Awesome Banner's the 7 in front, just making up a ton of ground, passing horses wide. He definitely didn't get an ideal trip, and as you said, had Awesome Banner to deal with, who had had a lot of Triple Crown aspirations and was now coming back into this Big Cypress here. I thought a really game performance from Wildcat Wish there.
Yeah, and that's the all those reasons why I put this one on top of the ticket, trying to beat that horse for course play, number 6 Rich Daddy. With that said, I think you got to go exact about this horse ran a great race. And Awesome Banner, cutting back to a sprint. This is a graded stakes winner, so that was a pretty nice performance in there. I closed it out with the 2 horse in here, and that's Southern Barbecue. And Southern Barbecue making its 4-year-old debut for trainer Mark Cassie. Faced stakes caliber competition with some success during the summer and fall campaign last year. Rafael Hernandez in the saddle got his first win back yesterday in the 49er Stakes, so threw that one on the ticket.
Well, you went with one Mark Cassie, and I went with the other Mark Cassie here. I went with the number 5 Piloting, who delivered in his first start last time out for the Cassie Barn as the odds-on favorite. Won by a length and a half against $16,000 optional claimers, so stepping up a little bit. That was on the slop. That was after shipping down from New York as well. So see if he can repeat that kind of good performance.
We'll see how that works out for the Cassie Barn and Southern Barbecue. A little bit of a hunch play. Lots of barbecues going on today on Father's Day. And that's really stretching.
Hey, well, if you're new to betting, that's certainly a good way to go.
Let's go to race number 4, and let's go on the turf course here. Mile end 116. Claimers 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 in life for 3-year-olds. That claiming level, $30,000 down to $25,000. Clean slate here. No scratches, no jockey changes. I went with the number 1 horse. We'll talk about that horse in a moment because you started it off with the number 3, and that is Little John W.
I did. I thought that this horse might be one of the primary speed plays in this race. I think that the one who used on top is it must be my lucky day is going to be a speed as well. But I thought that Little John W might be able to be right up there. Tyler Gaffleone is in the saddle, one of two Reed Nagel trainees in here.
Well, he finished a half length behind him last time out. I'm talking about the one who I put on top. Is Must Be Your Lucky Day. This one's going to face these $30,000 condition claimers from the rail at a mile in the 16th after dueling for the lead and only getting beat by a repeat winner called Fast Fire. Now, Fast Fire came back to run yesterday in the 49er and did not pick up his speed. I had picked this to be in one of my top 3 selections, talking about Fast Fire, and just did not fire in that race. Finished 8th. So, but I think he's been able to flaunt his speed, his tactical speed from the inside. Been noticing that speed has been good on the turf. So I went with the number 1 on top. And your selection, number 3, Little John W in second.
Yeah, and like I said, I thought that Little John W might be able to play some speed, and I think that the one will be up there as well. The reason that I didn't use that horse on top was because he just didn't really have much of a final kick in the latter stages, and as you mentioned, a little bit of questions there with Fast Fire's performance yesterday, but certainly looking for the speed on the turf. And I ended up going with the number 8, Turcomani, in second, the other Reed Nagel trainee. Emmy Sale Jaramillo rode the number 3, Little John W, in his most recent start. He'll be on Turcomani here. I thought that this horse had a really nice late kick, the exact opposite of what I was just talking about in the most recent start, stepping up a bit in class now, just beaten by 3/4 of a length last time out.
Well, you know, we're talking about MCL Jaramillo. He rode both those horses in their last starts. So I'm talking about Little John W and Turcomani, and he sticks with Turcomani, so that's a good sign. Now you close it out with the number 7, Mansion House, and this one, Irish bred.
Yes, and this one was first off the claim into the Marcial Navarro barn last time out. Actually only a victory came in Ireland back in 2013, so it's been a while since this horse has come to the winner's circle. Found a sloppy track last time out that was taken off the turf, going back over to the turf now, and I'm willing to give him another chance. I think he's eligible to improve.
Well, that is how we see race 4. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we will talk about the Rainbow Six and show you my ticket on this Father's Day card. Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Ron and Keisha, and we're going to look at race number 5, a 1-mile claimer, 3 and up, $6,250. And let's take a look at my Rainbow Six ticket this afternoon. And I went to 2 deep in here, then 3, and then you'll see in race number 7. That is my single today. She's incredible, making my favorite move in racing, and that is showing speed on the grass, turning back to 7 furlongs on the main track, 3 deep, and 4 in the last, $43.20. I think that horse, she's incredible, is 6-1 on the line. Seeing if my angle could come true today. And this race, what'd you go with?
Well, I went with the number 6, Flashing Cat on top, who in a race, I think that this one is probably going to show the speed. Was the speed last time out and ended up winning by an impressive 4 lengths as the favorite.
Yeah, I mean, he was in hand when he cruised under the wire. Let's show you a stat on Marcial Navarro over the last 5 years with a winner last out, low-level claimers on the dirt. He's 4 for 19. That is 21%. He's 58% in the money and $1.53 ROI. So the ROI low because they bet this horse is doing exactly what this horse is going to do today. And I think it's the logical choice on there. We had the scratch in there. We had a couple of scratches in race 5, the number 5, Caramello, and the number 7, Left Coast Piergos. One of the horses I did have on my ticket, but I also, like you, we're all in agreement now. We both use number 3, Smoking the Field.
Yeah, I thought that the 7, Left Coast Piergos, was going to be one of the main speed plays as well. So the number 6, our top selection, Flashing Cat, might be loose on the lead on his own now. But Smoking the Field from the Ralph Zadie barn. This one's a 9-time winner out of 76 lifetime starts, so certainly a hard-knocking 9-year-old gelding, but has been, speaking of knocking on the door of the winner's circle in his past couple of starts, finished third in the last 2, often right up there in contention, now stretching out to the mile.
Well, the horse that I added on my ticket after the scratch of Left Coast, Pier Ghost, was the 4 Jumble, who's stepping up to face open competition today. Responded last time out to both a surface switch and a drop in class with a come-from-behind score against 6,250 condition claimers, going 7/8 of a mile, stretching out to a mile this afternoon. Looks like they found this level where this horse can compete.
And I think the surface, too. It switched over from the turf, and we didn't really know what to do with him last time out as he was coming off of the turf and trying the main track, but it seemed like that was a positive switch for him.
So once again, scratch the 5 Caramello and the 7 Left Coast. Pier Ghost. As you know, I like to say that name. That's why I gave you the scratches twice in there. Race number 6 this afternoon, 1 mile and 1/16 on the turf. Claimers, fillies and mares, 3 and up, $10,000. Scratch the main, track only number 10. Elnath, and you went with in your number 6 Defying Gravity, and is that a horse you singled on your ticket?
It is not. We'll take a peek on my late pick 5 ticket. I wasn't able to find a single today. I wasn't as bold as you. $48 for my ticket. I actually went 4 deep here in this race, in race number 6, and then 2 throughout the middle races with 3 in the final leg. I considered singling a couple of those races 7, 8, 9, but decided to play it a little bit safe today. But if you can find a single, good luck to you.
Well, you used the number 6, and I did not have the 6 on my ticket, so Defying Gravity.
Defying Gravity, a winner last time out. This is now going to be the 3rd race off of the layoff. Ran in November, took about 6 months off, came back in May, and it was beaten about 4 lengths. Then was the odds-on favorite last time out in 1/3. Cornel Velasquez had climbed aboard last time. He's going to continue to ride again today. Jose Pinchin, the trainer, who's been going very well lately.
Yeah, very well. He's got a couple of really nice 2-year-old winners in there. I like a horse in here today, and I'm glad you have the horse in second, and that is the one Little Twitch who moved to the Joe Cantonese barn via the claim, stretching out today to 1 mile and the 16th after getting parked 6th wide in the race. And we're going to go back and show you the performance of this horse last time out. And I just thought he was, way out there. You'll see him back early in the going. He's the number 7, and he just had to take the overland route in here. And I just thought that, that off this performance, you'll see him out there way outside, that he ran okay, and I think this is a good spot for him. And you know what I like about her? In her previous race at this distance back on May 1st, she was only beaten a little bit by a length, I believe, by a repeat winner called Summers Back, a horse that has won 3 times at the meeting. So I just thought that wide trip, a better chance today, break into the inside. That Little Twitch is a horse that I'm certainly going to use on my ticket.
Yeah, and I went 4 deep in here, and I also included the number 4 Rejoiceful that you had in second, but I like Little Twitch as well, and I also like that she was claimed and she's moving over into the Joe Cantonese barn, but Luca Panici's going to stay, who's her regular rider, so I like that consistency.
Yeah,
there.
And I just thought that she had, the way the race played out last time out, she really didn't have a big shot being that wide. Now, number 4 Rejoiceful, as you mentioned, is stretching out after rallying nicely between the horses in that race, finished 3rd, beating a length. That was against 12-5, claimers going 7.5. I think the slight drop, if it really is a drop, it's probably more of a lateral move in here, can help produce her first victory this year. She's had 4 races this year with only that 3rd place finish, but a good spot for her, and I'm glad you added it on your ticket.
Yeah, that was the question mark for me for sure with Rejoiceful, but could be a little bit of a surprise one in here if she is able to carve out that good trip. I added the number 7, Almost an Angel. Tyler Gaffleone going to be in the saddle. A rather big jockey change to note there. And this one I think might be able to show some early speed as well. With a mile and a 16th on the turf, stretching out, but has shown a lot more speed on the turf races, with the exception of the most recent one where she was very wide, but the 3-time winner at this distance.
I threw in the 2, Who's That Chick, now in the Victor Barboza Jr. barn. It's the daughter of Yes, It's True. Dropping to this level after coming up empty. That was against $16,000 optional claimers. That was back on April 15th. Leonel Reyes rides, and this one on the board, I don't know what it is, 6-1 on the board. I just thought this horse on the drop may be able to grab a share, of the exacta or maybe the rolling super high 5.
That's always a good way to throw it in and see if you can get those prices.
We're sort of, almost in a little bit of agreement. Race number 6. That's a good way of saying we don't agree.
A little bit,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's a perfect explanation for why I went the 4 deep there,
Right.
and a good super high 5 try.
Race number 7, 7 furlongs, maiden special weight, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. And now I will tell you why I went with this as my single today. She's incredible. Turning back, 7 furlongs on the main track after dueling throughout and finishing second, beaten the net. That was going a 2-turn mile on the turf. Trainer is Fernando Abreu, Tyler Gaffleone, handling that combo surface switch turn back. And I found over the years that, horses that run well and showing speed on the grass, turning back to 7/8, everybody thinks they're going to be on the lead, but they're usually not. They stalk, and I just thought this horse, a little bit of a price, take a chance with number 6. She's incredible, right on top of my ticket.
Yeah, well, I really give you a lot of props for that. This was a horse that I looked at, but I decided to pass on because if you look back at the start of her career, her 2 dirt starts, not incredibly impressive. One of them was in a Florida Sire stake, but she was pushed out. At the start, she didn't really have any chance there at all. And in her debut, she showed a little bit of closing ability. So if she's able to go back to that kind of form and the surface switch, everything lines up for her, then you certainly get away with a good price there and a good single. I ended up going with the number 7, Sweet Parang on top, who's actually a first-time starter, the only first-time starter in this field, but has been working really nicely coming into today. I also like that she had most recently a 5 furlong work in the mud, and she went 101-1 there. So a very impressive work in the mud, especially. Ralph Nix is the trainer. I'm going to give you a stat on Ralph Nix in the past 5 years with first-time starters on the dirt in maiden special weight. 19 for 82, about 23% win. But in the money, 51% of the time, his firsters are usually pretty well bet. So $1.58 ROI, but some pretty solid numbers.
Yeah, 23% win average is pretty good. Now, did not use that one on the ticket, but would not be shocked, especially with Ralph Nix as the trainer, this one win it. But I'm hanging my hat, I said, on the number 6 in here. Then you went to the inside with the number 1 horse.
I went with Anna's Pride, who also looks to have some speed from the rail, has shown speed in all 3 of her starts. She's a pretty lightly raced 3-year-old filly. She debuted in August of 2015, then took about 9 months off, came back, finished second, moving over into the Mario Morales barn. Tried the turf last time out with a very good performance, but she's going to go back to the main track.
Number 2, Liberty Road, was given some time off after that frustrating sprint campaign before the layup in which he finished 3rd in 4 consecutive races and 2nd in the other one before that. Trainer is Marty Wolfson. Apprentice Christian Navarro trying to get this daughter of Quality Road out of 3rd gear. This barn is starting to heat up, and I just thought this horse, they gave her some time off, but has that little bit of chandelier in it, she likes to hang a bit in the stretch, so we'll see Liberty Road. You put it on the ticket there. I have it in 2nd. You have it in 3rd. I closed it out with the 5, Little Alexandria, turning back to 7 furlongs on the dirt. Another one showed speed, weakened, and going a mile into 16th on the turf. But it was back in January 2nd, so a bit of a guess off the layoff. The trainer is Carlo Vaccarezza, and he's got this sophomore training well up at Palm Meadows.
Absolutely, and this seems to be the kind of race where kind of anything can happen, as is shown by our picks that were a little bit all over the place, and see if we can get your single home.
Yeah, it's wide open, except the 6 will be on top.
No bias.
The 8th race, 1 mile and 1/16th on the turf, and allowance optional claimer, fillies and mares 3 and up, $25,000. Jockey change on the 2, make the rider Christian Rivera. Scratch the 10, My Wish List. And we both started it off in here with the number 3, and that is Standard Deal.
This one definitely looks to be one of the speed horses in this race. I imagine that the 6 Storm Sense will probably show early speed as well. But this horse had a really interesting trip last time out. Her saddle actually slipped, and Tyler Gaffleone was the jockey that day. And he gave such a stand-up ride to this filly in that he kept her clear. It looked like he thought about maybe pulling her up for a minute, but he still gave the horse a chance to win. Dad's Princess was the winner that day, but I thought that even with all of the saddle slipping, still a very solid performance.
Yeah, and it looked like once the saddle slipped up to a place where he didn't think it would slip anymore, which is very courageous on his part, he rode this horse to the finish, and for all the reasons you mentioned, I put it on top of my ticket. Now, I used the number 5, and so did you, Bridal Fashion, in 2nd, who's stretching out to the distance where she broke her maiden. And I want to go back and show you this horse's performance last time out. She was the number 3 that day, Bridal Fashion, and going into the far turn, turn to the wire. This horse had nowhere to run, and I just thought this horse had the ability to run well in here and just couldn't find that spot. Just blocked in the whole time around, going around the far turn. And, you know, we're going to follow. She's looking. And then finally, as we come out of the turn here, look at this. Is like, where do you go? You know, there's just nowhere. Finally, when she gets a little bit of a seam in the stretch, is why I'm showing it to the wire. It looks like she you know, she's still searching, and she tries to get it done, and you know, shows some ability at the end to close. But I just thought of that performance that this horse here now gets a little clear sailing, gets steadied again. So maybe off that performance with a clean trip, the 5 bridle fashion could run well.
It's just got that big white blaze easy to spot there. With all of that reasons that you mentioned, I use this horse as well. Also stretching out to the mile and a 16th distance. She's 1 for 7 in lifetime starts, and her only win came at the mile and a 16th. So she's back to a place where she feels comfortable. Hopefully, it'll get a better trip this time.
Yeah,
and
she's.
I was just going to say, now she's second off the layoff too.
Now, I was going to say she's a $350,000 daughter of Unbridled Song, so she's bred pretty nicely too, and had that rough trip last time out. Now you ended it with the 7 Killer Bird.
I did. This one 1 for 1 at the distance as well. Had a pair of wins before that streak was broken last time out when moving back over to the turf after finding a sloppy track last time out, but was still only beaten by 2.5 lengths. Trainer Chuck Simon with Matt Rispoli aboard, and we've been the pair doing very well lately too.
And number 1 Oxydata is stepping up the competition, trying to parlay her affinity for both this local turf course. She's had 9 races, a couple of wins, couple of seconds, and the distance, 3 for 4 in the money at the distance, into a minor upset. I think she's stepping up here. That, you know, it's not a logical spot. She's the second choice on the morning line. I think this is a little tough for her, but I think she can run well. Peter Wald is the trainer. Elvis Trujillo will be in the saddle.
Definitely a logical one with the type of form that she's been keeping, but the step up in class, we'll see how she handles that.
Well, let's go to race number 9 this afternoon. It is a 6 furlong claiming event. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 in life. Scratched the number 3 horse in here, Chi-Chi Girl. Also scratched number 11, Bella Nusta. And I went with the number 10 horse in here. You went with a horse I did not use on my ticket, and that is the number 7.
Eskin Lady, who is first off the claim, moving over into the Angel Rodriguez barn. Frank Carl Calabrese is the trainer. This horse is taking a rather big drop right now. Found a sloppy track last time out against 12-5 competition. That was after dropping from 30, from 40. Just been steadily dropping down. Finally broke her maiden at Keeneland back in April, and then has been dropping here in the ranks at Gulfstream in the past couple of starts. But we talk about how, with especially first off the claim, these connections usually place horses where they seem to be able to win. I thought that this horse had a pretty even finish last time out, and it looks like she's really eligible to improve with the drop.
Yeah, and she's the morning line favorite, and it's a wide open affair. I did not use that horse because I did use the horse you had in third. 10, Let Love Rule, will break from an outside post after angling out through the stretch to finish a well-meant second at this level in distance. Juan A. Rodriguez, the trainer. Matthew Rispoli just riding in great form, handling this 3-year-old's third start of a current form cycle, and I thought just was a logical way to go there. And then in second, and I used in third, was the number 6 horse, Sweet Arl.
Here's another one taking a big drop. The last 2 starts were against $30,000 claimers. One was on the turf, one was on the dirt. They were both pretty disappointing, unfortunately. After breaking her maiden a few back at 7 furlongs on the main track, and had moved over into the Abreu Mirage Bun. So we'll see if the drop and back to a comfortable distance seems to be the good one.
Yeah, this is a tough race.
Yeah.
You know, and I also used the 5 Silver Magic, drop into the $6,250 level. Chased the pace last time out, faded through the lane. That was against 12-5, 2 lifetime claimers going 3/4, and that was on a sealed sloppy track. I just thought maybe with the drop and the fast conditions we have this afternoon can grab a share. Don't know what she is. 12-1 on the morning line, so a little bit of a long shot in there with Semi Camacho in the set.
Yeah, and trainer Gary Jackson, who had 2 winners yesterday.
That's right, Gary Jackson barn really waking up yesterday. So that is race number 9. And our 10th and final race on the Father's Day card, 7.5 furlongs on the grass, turf, claimers, fillies and mares, 3 and up, non-winners of 2 in life. Scratch the A's 13, 14, 15, and 16. 16, and we both have number 1, Love Years, on top of the ticket.
Love Years moving over into the Gilberto Zerpa barn. I want to go back and actually show her most recent start. This was back on May 1st. It was 7.5 furlongs on the turf. She's the number 1 there. You see her there. The opening fractions were really slow, 25 and 2 for the opening quarter, and then 50 and 1 for the half. So pretty slow fractions there. She didn't really have much to close into at all. She was out of contention early. You see that she's really, really wide. The pace starts to quicken as they turn for home, and she's closing now nicely. She manages to get a share and finish 3rd, but after that slow pace, like I said, nothing really to close into. I thought it was a pretty impressive performance, especially given how wide she had to go.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you. That was the reason I put this one on top of the ticket. Now, in second, I used a 12. You had this one in third. Little Big Girl is going to break from the outside post today, and that is post number 12. Dropped to this level with blinkers added. Faced better in a pair with, with the blinkers added. Chucky Simon, go-to jock Matt Rispoli. We mentioned how well these team has been doing together. Going to handle that outside draw today.
Yeah, she's taking the blinkers off today. She did actually break her maiden without blinkers, and that was back on the turf against $35,000 maidens a few starts back towards the beginning of this year. As you mentioned, dropping again after dropping last time out. She's going to run against the 10,000 today and cutting back in distance as well. She ran against Mile in a 16th last time out, so we'll see if all of those things come together for the magical formula.
And I closed it out with the 3 Patient Digners, and I'll be your choice. In the nightcap, she rallied. She finished second as the favorite at this level and distance. Here's the red flag, if you want, 1 for 17 record. So 17 starts, only that 1 win, couple of seconds, lots of thirds.
Yeah, and that's the big question mark and red flag for me. 1 for 17. I went with the 7 Luminous Cielo to close it out. Cutting back in distance and dropping in class as well. Also taking the blinkers off. The Connections added them last time out for 1 start. Ended up being beaten by 11 lengths. 2 back, running 7.5 on the turf. Finished 3rd that day. Peter Walder and Emmy Sale Jaramillo.
Yeah, good connections there. So good luck with all your selections on this special holiday card. And we're going to turn it over to track announcer Pete Aiello in just a moment. And we'll be here all day, right?
That's right. Yes, we will. And happy Father's Day once again to all of those dads out there.